Greetings tourists and welcome to another video. So, welcome to 2025. This is my first upload of the year, and what better way to start off with something we left off in the last year. In the last video, I talked about Mitsurugi and I spoke about how this archetype is going to be really good for the next upcoming set, Supreme Darkness. And I pretty much like to show a proof of concept. Right, what you see here on the screen is, well, a 5 to 10 minute build of a Fiendsmith version of Mitsurugi. Why am I showing you this? Well, this is by no means a perfect list or anything, but this is just to show you just how really strong and how flexible this archetype is. The Mitsurugi engine only composes up to 10 to 14 cards, meaning that you do have a lot of room for non-engine, you have a lot of room for other hybrids. You can pair this in combinations with other archetypes like Ryziel, Drytron, and like, as you see here on the screen, Fiendsmith. You can also pair this with Alkudoadix, with Ranaraika, with Reptilians. Like, I chose the Fiendsmith route because the Fiendsmith cards do provide two things for the Mitsurugi cards. One, it gives you that extra extender that you need to fulfill your actual ritual summon completely. Two, it's another game plan to play through your opponent's interruptions and your opponent's hand traps and other stuff like that. And thirdly, and last of all, it's another very compact engine that does not take too many card spots, which means you have a lot of room for non-engine. Like, you see Ash Blossom, Valor, Nibiru, Talents, Imperm. Like, these could be any other cards you want. You don't have to play these cards specifically. I chose these cards because these are like the more common cards that you can play in this deck. You can play a full Mitsurugi deck without Fiendsmith cards and play Dominance Impulse because these are all dark attribute monsters if you wish. Like, the level of flexibility is very up high. The extra deck, it really doesn't matter as well. I saw people even test Dogmatica cards like with these Mitsurugi cards just so you can tutor out the rituals easier. But I chose to play a few of these. You can see Abaoku here. Abaoku is super easy to summon because of the Fiendsmith engine. You see Rex Tremende, and a lot of people don't think this card is good, but I kind of want to showcase you something you can do with Rex Tremende that actually makes it playable in future Fiendsmith builds. So this is a typical hand. You see, we didn't open any Mitsurugi card outside of Prayers. However, this is going to be full combo, and you'll see why. So we're going to do the typical Fiendsmith line. You're pretty much already familiar with this. So with Lacrima, a lot of people are used to sending Paradise. Instead of Paradise, we're going to be sending Fiendsmith Kyrie. So for those who don't know, Fiendsmith Kyrie is a new trap card that comes in Supreme Darkness, and what this card does is it protects your light fiend monsters from being destroyed by battle. But that's not the effect that we care about. The effect that we care is this one. You can banish this card from your graveyard and you can fusion summon a Fiendsmith fusion monster from your extra deck. Very similar to Fiendsmith Track. But what makes this card better than Track is that you can use monsters in your spell and trap zone that are equipped to the Fiendsmith as material. So this makes the fusion summon for, like, for example, the Desiree a whole lot easier, but that's not all. So this is going to be the end of the Fiendsmith line. As you can see, there are like 3 light fiends in graveyard. The engraver has not been used yet, but the more important part is Lacrima is a level 4 monster. And the reason that's relevant is because we're going to summon we're going to add Saji, we're going to activate Saji. That's a mistake, don't mind that ritual monster. We're going to add Mitsurugi Ritual, and Mitsurugi Ritual is half of the combo for the entire Mitsurugi line, but there's still one more thing missing. We only have one reptile, so we cannot summon from the deck yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to make King of the Feral Imps. King of the Feral Imps is just fairly generic. You're going to use the Lacrima as material, and with the King of the Feral Imps, you're going to add the Ameno Murakamo Mitsurugi. And we're going to do that. We're going to use this, and we're just going to summon the Murakumo. Next, we're going to use the Fusaragi and the Nicer Serpent. You're already used to this line by now. So this goes back, this gets summoned. We're going to ritual summon for the Futsu. We're going to re-summon back that. We're going to use the Purification. We're going to use the Engraver now. The Engraver, and that is going to make Close Heaven into the sequence. And you're already familiar with this. This is basically the Fiendsmith line. And this is the M-board. The M-board is the Desiree with the sequence, the Agnum Day with the Great Purification, the Ameno Kurokamo Mitsurugi, and the Futsu. And I'm going to say this M-board is really powerful. Like, let me show you an example of something that is very resilient with this board. You see all these board breaker cards that are on the top? All of these cards are useless against this M-board. Like, what are you gonna do? Rust Fear Mode? If you Rust Fear Mode all these cards, all the rituals come back. And not only do they come back, they're going to add you another card. So you're basically plotting if they're going to Sphere Mode or Lava Golem you. If they Nibiru you, it's the same thing. Like, all these cards, like, all those cards don't matter. The ruler no more? That's fine. Like, on and not, when your opponent activates anything else, you just use the Purification Trap and just tribute the Murakumo. The Purification is an omni-negate, and then the Murakumo comes back. And then the Murakumo is another negate. Like, all of these cards don't matter against this M-board. So, are there any other interruptions here that your opponent should be mindful of? Yes, there are. The Murakumo, if it comes back, is basically a walking Raigeki, so it can blow up all your opponent's monsters. But not only that, check this out. Remember the Kairi that we had in our graveyard? Check this out. On our opponent's turn, we can use the Kairi, and the Kairi can fuse away the Desiree in order to summon Rex Tremende. And Rex Tremende doesn't do anything right now. However, the Desiree actually triggers, and the Desiree can just push something back to your opponent's Phantasm. And not only that, you can use the Lacrima. And with Lacrima, you're going to return it, you're going to summon Agnum Day, and then the Agnum Day is going to re-summon the Desiree. So, all those other board breaker cards you saw, like the Nibirus, the Sphere Modes, the Lava Golems, like the Kaijus, all those cards, they don't matter against Desiree either. And like the Dark Ruler Remorse does not matter because of parry. So yeah, this is really strong. And I'm going to show you another example. This is Mitsurugi Prayers alongside Saji. We're going to fight against all these hand traps. You see this Call by the Grave and you see these Triple Talents. We're not going to use these two cards in this entire line. Check this out. So we're going to summon Saji. Saji is going to activate. They're going to Infinite Impermanence. And we're going to chain the Prayers, tributing the Saji. So Prayers reads that you can tribute one reptile monster from your hand or field. That's another really cool thing about Prayers. Prayers can tribute from the hand, and if you tribute the Murakumo, Murakumo can add any card. So this is an entire ritual line by itself as well. But by tributing the Saji, you can optionally special summon a Mitsurugi. You don't have to. You can just resolve the first effect, but we're going to do both effects anyway. So we're going to tribute, we're going to add the ritual spell, and we're going to re-summon back the Saji. So now at this point, we already lost 800 life points. Now we can Mitsurugi Ritual to summon the Mitsurugi Murakumo from the deck. So our opponent is going to attempt to Ash Blossom, And take note, if you're going to special from the hand, they cannot Ash Blossom. Because Ash Blossom stops if you're sending from the deck. This is tributing. So this card is pretty much better than Shadow Fusion, better than Branch Fusion, like better all those cards when it comes to like resolving like the Murakumo. So you're going to summon Murakumo, we're going to send these two. We now know that Ash Blossom is in their hand. Now we're going to activate the Kusanagi and we're going to add the third Serpent. We're going to add the Ritual Spell. Ignore that summon. That's not the right summon. That's the right summon. That's the third Serpent. So now that we're here at this point, since we know they have Ash Blossom, or if you want to play around Ash Blossom, you hold this Ritual. Because what we're going to do next is we're going to do the entire Fiendsmith line. Remember the Fiendsmith line that we showed earlier? Well, we're going to attempt that. So let's say they actually use the Ash Blossom on the Requiem. Okay, so we lost the Fiendsmith line. Doesn't matter, because now we're going to Mitsurugi Ritual, we're going to summon the Futsu, we're going to tribute the Murakumo, and now Murakumo triggers, Murakumo is going to come back, and Murakumo is going to add us Great Purification, and this is our end board. And obviously we're over 5 summons, so let's say for example they actually Nibiru. Okay, they actually Nibiru'd. The token should be here, so pretend the token is there. But the Futsu is going to activate, and the Futsu is going to reborn itself and add us the prayers. And this is our end board. And now the opponent is pretty much in a very bad spot because they used 4 hand traps against us. They only have 1 card left. Like, they're going to drop a turn, and they have to deal with the Prayer Purification, and they have to deal with the Mitama summoning back the other Mitsurugis. And take note, Futsu's effective special summon is once per chain. So you can even reborn your entire board back with Mitama. So, yeah. I think I demonstrated just how powerful this deck is going to be. I think this deck is not solved yet. I think a lot of people are starting to figure out and realize ratios and realize like other points where it comes to this deck. Yeah, I'd say keep a lookout for these cards because these are coming to the TCG very, very soon. And if you don't learn about these cards, they're going to dominate the meta game. Not to an extent of Ryziel and Malice, but at least to the point where they're going to be on par with the other Fiendsmith decks. But yeah, I hope you found this informative to your liking, understanding. More videos coming soon. Welcome to 2025. Yeah, keep practicing and keep dueling.